on deck. Thank you, sir.
God bless you guys. Thank you. Wow, okay. I feel like I'm going to have to do something now.
Going home.
Go ahead and shut that off. There's a lot of neat songs on that tape, by the way.
We don't need to listen to one.
All I ever wanted to do was wear the green beret. And I wanted to wear it forever. And I got my wish. And now it has been my desire for a long time, all the time since I've worn the beret, to be able to share it with other Americans. And, you know, I've trained armies all over the world. That seems to be the purpose of Special Forces, is go, like Kennedy said, to these outposts and to train these people. Our motto is, we liberate the oppressed. And so that's what I've done. And now it has been my desire, and finally, the Lord has willed it, and we're able to do it. We're sharing that beret with every one of you who would. The beret is not only a badge of courage. It's not only a badge of honor. It's not only a badge that has won many medals of honor beyond the numbers that it should have. It has won thousands of Purple Hearts. It has served in far-flung lands all around the globe, not in the cities, but out in the hinterlands. And the beret represents to me the same thing today it did when I first was awarded the beret. And our berets were awarded by John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Now, I went into Special Forces in the 50s, and we had the beret, but we didn't. It was clank, clank, I'm a tank. The generals up in Washington, D.C. didn't want to see any elitism. All soldiers had to look exactly alike, even though we were in another army. We didn't care about the generals' piles. We didn't have any general. We didn't care about the parade ground. We didn't march very well. We didn't have a flag. We didn't even have a march. So when Special Forces was on parade, they would play Colonel Bogey's March. That's on the bridge on the River Kwai. Finally, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, I think, saw the real value of Special Forces. When we went out into the weeds, we'd put on our beret. It was illegal in the garrison. And finally, when he visited Fort Bragg, North Carolina, he presented that beret, and ever since then it has meant something to me. It has meant commitment. It doesn't mean that it is a badge that, look what I've done. It means that it is a badge of, look what I am prepared to do. Look what I'm doing now. It's a three-dimensional badge. It shows that you do more than talk about it. And that's why some of you here, of course, have won your berets already in Phase 8. Tomorrow, as part of Phase 9, you're going to be awarded the crossed golden arrows of a Special Forces officer. That will go on that beret. And then finally in Phase 10, which is counter-terrorist driving, and we'll be back around before it gets too cold here in Dallas, you'll win a full flash fastened to your beret by those crossed arrows. It means that you are prepared, that you are ready, not yourself just and only, but to teach others and to share with others. Being a green beret is like being a candle that is lit. It means you can light thousands of others, if you will. Now, I've done my job. I was trained, and now I have trained many of you. Across the United States, we've probably got 5,000 spikers. And it is up to those spikers to light the candles of as many as they will. And throughout this program, we could have made it one of great profit. There is not another training vehicle on the planet today like Spike. There's no place else where you can get a totally comprehensive, from Band-Aid all the way to emergency surgery type course, that you don't have to go to a graduate school of a university and spend tens of thousands of dollars. Instead, we come to you And in most of these kinds of things, a training tape will cost you $50 and it's about 30 minutes long. And instead we've got the same thing that is 8 hours long. And in most of these kinds of courses that you have ever decided to go to, the products have been offered at accelerated prices, and instead you get yours for wholesale or below, because we are going to make a difference in America. I don't know what's going to end up in the transition of the United States of America into USA Incorporated. You can see it going on every day, and I'll prove it to you here tonight. But I know this. I know that this is the promised land. I know that the flag of the United States is God's flag upon the face of this earth today, if there is one. And I know that I'm promised that there is a remnant of those that are called by his name, and they will be present upon the face of this earth when his son, the Messiah, comes to claim this earth. 1 billion Muslims believe it. 2 billion Christians believe it. There's even 18 million Jews out there that are looking for the Messiah. He's coming. And somebody's going to be here. And I don't know if I'll be among that rank, but I'll tell you what, I'll guarantee you something. There's going to be spikers out there, because you've got to be hard like woodpecker lips. The more that they come down and the harder, and I'm not just, when I say they, I'm not just talking about, quote, government or crime. I'm talking about the weather, friends. Yesterday was the highest it had ever been in Phoenix, Arizona, until today. Today's the highest ever it's been until tomorrow. Almost 1,000 people are dead in America because of the heat wave. 529 of them up there in Chicago right now, and counting. And wasn't it just, gosh, last year that we had the 700-year flood? Well, until, of course, this year and the year before. And isn't it interesting that June there was more tornadoes in America than ever before? Ever before. Is it a sign of the times? Well, you can just say it's coincidence. But you see, if you can read, and that's something the Education Department is determined that you will not be able to do. As a matter of fact, it's interesting, isn't it, that the governor of South Carolina, the old governor of South Carolina, is now the head of the Education Department. And of all the 50 states, South Carolina is lowest on the Scholastic Aptitude Test. But that's all right, because he has a solution. Next year, in 1996, they're just going to recenter the SAT test so that everybody in America is right back on average again, like they were when they came with the average in 1941. And so if you can read, and you're going to have to learn it at home, friends, if you can read, then you can read Matthew in chapter 24 and 25, and you too can read Daniel, and you can read Revelation, and you too can know exactly what is going to happen. And I think you too will be able to know when, maybe not exactly, but as Christ has said, that even as the leaves turn green, you know that summer is nigh, you'll know the season. This is the most exciting period on the face of the earth. And those of you out there that may question that, I welcome you here, because I'm going to, I think, offer you some elements of proof tonight. First of all, let me say something about the alternative medicine that Tom spoke of. I went all over the United States in 1992. I had never had any kind of treatment other than allopathic. That's living better through chemistry. And that's what DuPont would have you do. That's what the doctors prescribed for you. But when I got off the campaign trail in 1992, I was nearing a heart attack. I mean, here I was only 53 years old, and I should have been in just the prime of health.